Alright, hey everyone, it's Mr. Stark here to do a little video for you guys on how to replace the rear hub and bearing set on a Dodge Dart. Um, so it's pretty simple. You just have to have the right tools for it. Let me show you the tools real quick. So you're going to need one of these. I'll do it this way. You're going to need one of these. Not sure exactly the size. I imagine it's 14 millimeter. You're going to need an Allen wrench with 3/16 head, and I'll show you what that's for in a sec. You're going to need a, well, it's this socket. This is to take out the caliper pins. It says H8. Not too familiar with exact names of tools and sizes and everything, but bear with me. You're going to need, this is a 1/4 inch drive socket wrench, and you're probably going to need a 1/2 inch because you're going to have to take out this 32 millimeter 32 millimeter axle nut. You can get this axle nut socket at O'Reilly's, at Advanced, or AutoZone. I rented mine. It was like, I want to say it's either $20 or $15, but you get the money back as soon as you bring it back. And shit, probably gonna end up returning this too because I don't really need it after this. And I think you can rent those as well. You might need a sledgehammer. I would highly recommend a rubber mallet, but I am stupid and lazy, and that's all I had around. You're gonna need this, of course, to get off the lug nuts. It's a 19 millimeter or 3/4 inch socket. You got 5 of those. I'm sure you already knew that. But, okay, so it's pretty easy. I have to reverse engineer this real quick because I didn't think to do this video until just right now. So, you take the wheel off, you get all 5 lugs off. All 5 of these bad boys. Get all those off. Which, by the way, if yours look like this, it would be wise to add more of this green stuff, the thread lock and anti-seize stuff, so it makes it a little bit easier for you to get these things out. Mine are rusting a little bit. And honestly, the dealership, every time they freaking take these things off, this is a bad example. Here's a better example. Every time the dealership takes these things off, they destroy them. They've also managed to destroy my wheel. So that's why I think for now on I'm going to do my own work. So anyways, when you get the wheel off, you're faced with this. It's nothing pretty. All it is, well, first of all, you actually have the caliper on here. So the caliper has four bolts, 2 of these, top and bottom, and 2 of these, top and bottom. So you need that socket wrench with the H8 to go onto here, and you need this 14 millimeter to go right in there to take these off. When these are on, you're actually going to turn this way because it's opposite. If this bolt was facing you, you'd be turning counterclockwise, but because it's facing that way, you're going to turn it clockwise. Everything on the front face here, you're going to turn counterclockwise to get it loose. That's counterclockwise this way, like a clock, but backwards. So anyways, you'll have one of these guys right up here in the spring-loaded little thingy right here. Take that off that one. You take it off of this one. And then these guys are down here holding the, I don't know if you can see it, there's 2 holes. There's one right there. And then there's one way down here. You can see that. That's a better view. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be right there. So you have 2 of these. Again, you're going to turn it clockwise to get it off and counterclockwise to get it on because it's backwards. But these two are holding the caliper to this mounting plate back here, which holds the axle nut, the hub bearing, the dust shield, which is this thing, and the caliper all on one modular piece. So then you get the caliper off. And by the way, I highly recommend paying attention to what's happening with your brake pads at this point because they're spring loaded, and if you're gonna honestly, I would highly recommend just if you're gonna do your pads and you're gonna do your rotors, do it all at the same time. I did my pads a little while ago. I need to redo this caliper because it's peeling quite bad, but I'm gonna redo my rotor soon here because you can see it got rusted and I got angry, so I hit it with a hammer. It's not doing anything major to the rotor yet. Just friendly warning: don't hit your rotor with a hammer like this. Hit it with a rubber mallet, or put some big thick thing of cloth around it and then tap it with a sledgehammer. That'll keep your rotor lasting a lot longer, and your wear will be even. Okay, so anyways, we got the caliper off. Now we need to get this rotor off. So that's when you take your Allen wrench, and what I say was a 3/16. So there's this little hex nut right here. It's not going to zoom in on me right now very well. Come on, zoom in. There we go. Okay, so you're going to have one of these, and it's going to be in one of these holes, and that's what secures the rotor onto your hub bearing set. And it's lined up nicely, which presently mine is not. It'll look like that. So the Allen wrench, stick it in there, twist it, whatever you got to do, get it off. And then this centerpiece, there should be one of these on it. I busted mine up because the damn thing was rusted in there on the original one. I would put a little bit of grease on the outside so it comes in and out easily, but really all you would need to do is stick a screwdriver in between this and this, tap it a couple times with the hammer, rotate it, keep tapping until it just pops right out. But otherwise, this is a piece of shit, but it's a dust cover for your nut, which that's this bad boy. So this guy is on here, and it's tight, but you can get it off by hand as long as you have leverage. And this was just enough leverage to get it off, but anyways, get this in there. You turn it, get the thing off. Yay, it's off. Take that off. Take the rotor off, and bam. Replace your hub bearing set. This was rusted pretty bad. Now, I have 60,000 miles on my car, so don't be alarmed if your car has 20,000 miles and you think yours looks like this. It probably doesn't. They told me one of these bearings was bad. I'm not 100% sure how to check on that, other than the fact that I know that there's a lot of noise coming from this side when I drive. And the tire's still got pretty good tread, and it's balanced fine, so it's not this one. The left side tire does need replaced, but again, that bearing is fine. It's this one. And honestly, I'm happy that I'm replacing this because this looks like shit. And this one looks sparkly brand freaking new. Minus all the rust I just got on it. So, I'm going to pause this for a second and put this back on. I'll be right back. Alright, real quick. So, I got the rotor back on. I just want to clean it up a little bit. And then, like I said, I want to get a little bit of lube on that cap. So I'm going to just run a little bit of lube on the inside of this thing. Sorry, I don't even think the camera was aimed at there. So just get that around there. Maybe even put some on the outside of this, because this is going to get stuck to the wheel sometimes. And then, so I got the little Allen wrench screw in there. It's right there. It doesn't really matter which hole it's in as long as the hole has this recessed platform in there. I forget what those are called. It's like it's set in, but it's not like these other holes that don't have any kind of base. These are the holes that your lugs are going to go into. And if you tried putting it in the other one, it wouldn't go because the diameter is too small. So, that said, now I'm going to put this lug on. All right, the lug is on using this 32 millimeter socket and the 1/2 inch drive. It's also nice to get one of these ones that has the adjustable thing. That way, when you turn, you can just rotate it and then turn again. And then I'd get one of these and not just a straight bar. Not just one of these, anyways, because this helps a lot. Plus, this is a lot more durable. So, got the rotor on there. It's on there real good. Now I'm going to get the caliper back on. So, in this case, since the piston on the caliper, I don't know if you can see it, wasn't pushed out any in the process of this, and the caliper is not seized, and the brake pads still have decent life on them. They're not too bad. A little bit of uneven wear on the outsides, but I think that's just because of the tires. Not 100% sure. That's not important to this situation at all. So I'm going to put the caliper back on and then show you where the bolts go for that. All right, one piece of advice for this is these two bolts or nuts or whatever. They're very particular. So you can see where my hand is there. It's trying to find the other hole. That's what she said. You don't want to put one in and tighten it all the way and then expect to get the other one in there. It doesn't work that way. So you got to line the caliper bracket up to this mounting plate thing here where the shadow is and get these screws in. Once you've done that, then you can put these screws in and go from there. All right, well, as you can see, I started to get this one on. I just have one more to do. And then you'll be using this to get that on. But when you put this cap back on, I should be getting a new one of these, but I don't have one right now. So I'm just going to hammer this one back into place. I'm going to leave a little bit of gap because I need to get this thing off again eventually. Might need to get this thing off. I doubt it, but anyways. So, phone's about to die, but everything's on here. Just need to put that last bolt on, and then get the wheel back on, get the wheel lugs back on, and I'll be good to go. Now, here's one thing. I'm not a mechanic by trade. It's something I picked up when I worked at a dealership a few years back, and I've been working in cars ever since. I've never had any problems with the work that I've done, but I will tell you and be straight up, I don't know the exact torque spec on all these things. Most of my tools are torqued for what I'm doing, but I'm using hand tools. I'm not using power tools or air tools, so which make it a lot easier, but you don't want to over torque things. And of course, you do not want to under torque things because then they start to unravel themselves. Over torquing can cause them to break down. You can damage the threads and cause a lot of unnecessary problems. Under torquing them, of course, they might come out. You might have a lot of loose stuff. Then you're up shit creek without a paddle. So